Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Grove podcast. But not only is it episode 6, 6 has another meaning today. Arsenal have just destroyed West Ham United 6-0. I am joined by Tabs.
Hello, good afternoon everyone.
I'm also joined again by Tom, who's back from his scouting mission for Thomas Partey at London Colney.
Yeah, still haven't found him, but I'll apologise. I can't live up to Wales in introduction. I'll just say hello.
And today we're also joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Cern. How you doing?
Very well, thank you very much.
Welcome to the Grove podcast debut. You've been itching, just like Paul. You were itching to get on. We've got you on now, and it's only fitting that we get you on as well today because you were the one that wanted to humble these fuckers. And humble these fuckers we did indeed. So, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone listening to the pod. Last episode, we got some really good feedback. We really appreciate it. Andrea, I'm sure one of your friends had mentioned some feedback, so I just wanted you to read that out. I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, no, sure. And sorry, just before I read the feedback, I don't want to disappoint our listeners. They particularly want to hear this.
Fine gentlemen.
There we go. Whether he's here in spirit, if he's not here in person. So we got to keep the listeners happy, give them what they want. So and that's one particularly for Charles, because I know she particularly likes it. I've got a long suffering Man United fan, a guy called Martin Parrish, I've known for many a year, and the feedback he sent to me via text was. And this is from a Man United fan. Now, who would have thought that I would be listening to an Arsenal podcast featuring Tabs and enjoying it? So, yeah, a bit self-congratulatory, but we don't mind a bit of that. But it goes to show that our reach from the Grove goes far beyond just Arsenal supporters. We are getting into the ears and hearts of Man United fans as well. So I'm really pleased that we're spreading the love and spreading the word. So thank you, Martin, for that. But anyway, enough of this self-congratulatory nonsense. Let's get to the good stuff.
The good stuff indeed. So we always start by talking about highlights and lowlights of a game, right? And I'm struggling to really find a lowlight from that game. I guess for me, the highlight has to be the first half in general. I cannot remember a first half in the last 2 games now where we've just been so dominant and so perfect. I mean, scoring some of the goals we scored were just absolutely brilliant. Declan Rice, his assists, it was just unbelievable. In terms of a low light, the only low light is we never got a 7th, right? I'm going to be greedy. I wanted to go above Man U. I said to you guys in the chat as well before the second half kicked off, our predictions are in the mud. We need to sort out another prediction. And I said 7-1. So I wasn't far off, but I just wanted that 7th goal to get above City in the table. That was mine. Tabs, what about yourself?
Just on your low light, and my low light was very similar. My low light was not getting the 7, but the reason is that back in my day, there used to be something called the Vidi printer when they were going through the results at the end of grandstand, and every time 7 goals were scored, it would always have to spell out 7, so it wouldn't just be the number 7. So I wanted to see the SEVEN in brackets. That would have been brilliant. So that was my minor low light. And in terms of highlight, just Declan Rice's goal was just made me fall off my seat laughing. So that was great. That was definitely my highlight for the afternoon. Just what a finish! Odegaard and Trossard getting each other's way, then he just strolls up, smashes it first time, and it was so good he then walks off the pitch and says goodbye. So that was a great highlight for me.
Any worries about his potential limp or
injury? He's fine. He's good. He's got a week to recover. He's made of titanium. He'll be good.
I heard he was made of rice, but I must have been hearing wrong. Cern, what about yourself?
He was made by rice, not of rice.
Yeah. Lowlight, it was really hard to think of a couple of lowlights. In the first half, before I think the third goal went in, my low light was probably the fact that we aren't taking as many chances as we could. I think Saka missed 2 great headers on top of the great header he had at Liverpool was a little bit disappointing, but maybe we're being a bit of a perfectionist there. If I was going to give you another low light, it was that Nketiah didn't score. Another away game he hasn't scored, and that if any time he was going to score, it should have really been today. Highlights, yes, my biggest one is probably our set plays were just fantastic. They looked really rehearsed, and before the Dubai break, it almost felt like we'd have a brilliant set play idea, but something would happen. Someone would get knocked off their momentum, and something wouldn't happen. It wouldn't work out as we intended. But today, it just felt like everything was meant to be. Everything was going as well as we planned, and I think that was probably one of the biggest highlights. That we're getting goals from these set pieces, whereas years gone by, we'd really struggle for set pieces. I'm thinking of those away days at Stoke and things like that, where we'd struggle with corners, but not today.
Our set piece coach has come in absolutely leaps and bounds. It really has been night and day. What a difference. Sir, and I've got one question for you. It requires a yes or a no answer. Did we humble those fuckers?
If I was to show you this bit of paper that I got all my notes on, the top of it, the title in bold is humbled. So I'd say yes, absolutely.
Tom, highlight and low light of today's game.
Right. I'm going to start with the low light. And it's nothing to do with us, but just hearing Declan Rice get booed by their fans, I was just thinking, you fuckers, because the stuff that he's done with that club and obviously winning a European trophy with them, and then the way he left, he's always been so humble, hasn't he? And he's never had a bad word to say about them. So there's absolutely no reason that he should get booed. And I think that takes me into the highlight, which was just seeing him. I mean, he performs 10 out of 10 every game, but it was just a level above to today with the assists and the goal. And that goal was just outrageous, wasn't it? So seeing him do that and then get subbed off and just sort of like clap him as he's walking off, and then clap him at the end of the game, it sort of felt a bit smug. But he's got no bad intentions with it, just because he's very humble. But yeah, I mean, just seeing him tear him apart was great.
I would have loved if Declan Rice celebrated when he scored. I would have loved that. I would have took great pride in watching him celebrate as well when he scored. I was imagining like a knee slide at the corner flag, shushing the crowd, cupping his hand to his ear, maybe pointing around in the upper tier of the stadium, looking like where's all these fans and all that sort of stuff.
Well, there weren't any fans to point at, so he couldn't. So, and actually, the only reason he didn't celebrate had nothing to do with his history at West Ham, is because of all the press and all the media from last week. He was respecting their opinion, and that's why he didn't celebrate. See, and he almost walked down the tunnel. He walked straight to the bench. So Carragher, there you go.
Yeah. I think even though it'd be highly amusing seeing him do a proper celebration, I think he's done himself a few favours by not celebrating it. I mean, it shows respect, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and that just shows you the type of guy he is, right? But yeah, anyway, in terms of the game being a good result and a fair result, I mean, I can't see anything past you guys agreeing with me in terms of, yeah, obviously a fair result, but what a result as well. We have fully backed up our win against Liverpool last week with an emphatic victory today. Takes us level on points with City, level on goal difference as well. They're only above us on goals scored, I believe. So yeah, what an emphatic result, an amazing performance. And the fact that we even got to see the likes of Ethan, I can never say it, Nwaneri, come on to play the last 15, 20 minutes. That was just brilliant as well, because we've been crying out in the Grove for him to get some game time, and today he got that. And yeah, it was just really nice, just a lovely performance. And it's funny, I'm looking at the screen now and I can see everyone's predictions from last week on the pod. We made predictions for this game, and Wales, I think, came closest in terms of how many goals we'd score, and had 4-1 written down. But I don't think anyone could have ever, estimated we would have won by 6 goals. No chance at all. Even if you had a bet on, I think the odds would be crazy.
No,
And Tab, sorry, I was just going to
Yeah.
say, incidentally enough, you've wrote down here as well, the last time we scored 6-0, or the last time we won 6-0, sorry, I should say, away, was versus who?
it was it was scored 6. Sorry, I should have corrected that. Yeah, it was against Moyes. So he must love playing against Moyes back in 2009 when he was manager of Everton. So
Do you want to tell the Grove, though, what you said to me at half-time, what you thought the
well-
score might be?
well,
You want to tell
well,
them,
this sort
or-
of plays into a bit just how we are as fans. Like even before the game, when the team came out and all that. Now the first 11 was great, fine. You can justify it either way, but everyone was, oh my god, the subs bench. What's happened to ESR, Vieira, Partey, Zinchenko, all these injuries and stuff, and so there was a sense of nervousness, not because of the first 11, but a case of, wow, if anything, if it didn't go to plan, how are we going to change the game up? And it's just as fans, even at half time, memories of Newcastle 2011, 4-0 up at half time, and we joked, oh well, yeah, and I said, oh, potentially 4-2, you get a bit slack, you get a bit lazy, they get an early goal, so even at 4-0 up, we couldn't fully relax. It wasn't until I think the 5th, then everyone's going, all right, it is properly done. But it's just the nature and nervousness of what we are, and pessimists and so on like that we've experienced it in the past, so we always have this defense mechanism, to just make sure we don't get too excited too soon.
I think, genuinely speaking, if we went into half time at, say, 2-0, we would have been so much more nervous for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I'm just so proud that the team managed to take their chances and actually go in at 4-0. Trossard's finish was just a thing of beauty. Rice's goal, obviously, in the second half was even better. But going in at half time, being 4-0 up, was just so much more calming. I just felt so relaxed. In fact, it was more enjoyable watching the game. It was a good laugh. And I had a friend, Jermaine, who listens to the pod, and just want to give him a shout out. He was sending loads of photos and videos from being at the game in the away end, and it just looked so much fun. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just on cloud 9. I think the last few games we've played has just been unbelievable, and I'm just ready to now watch Villa absolutely hump Man U, and that'll just put the icing on the cake. In terms of team selection, Søren, I'll start with you. Were you happy with the team selection? I know there was a lot of talk about Jorginho potentially, not starting or whatever, but turns out he hasn't trained. So what do you think, Søren? Were you happy with it?
Yeah, I was really happy with it, and I tell you, one standout player that I was a little bit surprised with, but I think he really showed his worth in the last game at Liverpool, was Kivior. I thought he had a really great game defensively, and he got himself into some great positions attacking. And I think it also really showed how much we missed Havertz when we played West Ham at the Emirates. When we played this game, how many balls did he win physically in the air, on the ground, offensively? He would put balls through as well. We really missed him in the last game. But yeah, overall, I think great. I think as well, it takes a lot of pressure off the fact that Jesus isn't scoring so many as we'd like, and the fact that we probably want to be buying Tony or Osimhen in the future. I don't think Osimhen's going to happen. I don't think we can afford him, but Tony maybe. But the fact that our whole team is scoring goals and contributing, it just takes that pressure off. And if we do go on and win some trophies this season, maybe it takes that pressure off the amount it would cost us to buy someone like Tony or Osimhen. Yeah, I was really happy with the team that got put out today.
Tom, this is a really hard question after we win 6-0, but I'm just laughing at Tabs' notes here. Could or should it have been different pending results? So try answering that one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can even if you're able to find flaws in that starting 11, if you're able to find potentially anything we could have done differently. But yeah, take it away. See if you have any thoughts on that. Sorry.
Well, yeah. I think my answer to that question is no. Like you say, you can't complain about anything when we've just come away winning 6-0. I did initially think Jorginho is hard done by not playing, but then if he's not fit, then he's not fit. because he put in obviously such a good performance against Liverpool. I did read, I think during the week or last week, that he's sort of pending some surgery, and if he has that surgery, then he won't be able to play after it. So he's kind of just holding off on it in order to be able to play. But for him to play, he has to have effectively like painkilling injections.
I don't think, Tom, you can play after you have surgery. I think normally the anaesthetic is too strong, mate.
You're a bit groggy. Yeah.
I think his physical condition, he's not exactly in peak condition. He won't be able to play every game, so that's understandable for him not to be on the team sheet today. But what I do really like is hearing Trossard starting. Seen it was leaked before the lineups come out, and then we're all kind of debating where he would play and where Havertz might play, and I think that works to our advantage, because you've got both Havertz and Trossard that can both play as a number 9 or that sort of central midfield role, and you just noticed today they occupy both positions, but they kind of support each other and they're kind of interchanging in a way, and it just gives us that variation.
Yeah, I really liked that. I noticed the commentators as well had mentioned about Trossard and Havertz kind of playing in that same pocket of space, and it really worked well. And even though Havertz never got on the score sheet today, although we all thought he did when the camera panned to him when Big Gabby scored, I think the group chat were confused for a minute. I think Havertz had a really solid game today. I really do. I think the whole team were outstanding, obviously, but Kai Havertz had a really solid game, as well as Kivior, who was mentioned earlier.
I mean, in terms of actually, could we have done anything different? You're right. Some of these questions I've raised beforehand. We couldn't. That was the 11 we had to put out. Now, there were questions around left back. Would it be Zinni, Tommy, Kivior? Well, Tommy and Zinni weren't there in the squad, so it had to be Kivior. Left 8, again, Jorginho knackered. He plays 197-minute game and he's shattered for like how many weeks? And the only option was Trossard or Havertz. They both got on. They interchanged, as Tom said. And then centre forward, no Jesus in the lineup. So again, Havertz or Trossard, because I think that Nketiah is now going to be pretty much on the bench from now on in, because I think we may have put him in the spotlight during the winter transfer window. No one bought, no one bit. So I think he's going to be more on the bench, and I don't see him starting many, if any, games now between now and the end of the season. So in terms of that question, no, I don't think we had any real choice other than that team that we put out.
In terms of the players that stood out for us or who played well, it's hard to pick anyone other than Bukayo Saka, who obviously got 2 goals, but Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice, for me, deserve mentions for having 2 assists each. Ben White, some of I can't remember what minute it was, but it was late in the second half, and Saka has a ball on the right wing, and you just see from the left-hand side of your screen, Ben White storming, like doing a 100-metre sprint, basically, right past us, still getting the overlap. He had a really good game, but out of the defence, I think I've got to give it to Gabriel. I mean, scored, was assured at the back, just looks better and better every single game. Next to Mustafi 2.0, I was really impressed with their partnership, and the fact that Mustafi 2.0 also scored. We're doing a disservice to William Saliba for calling him Mustafi 2.0, but if you listened to last week's episode, you would know why. And the only reason why I mentioned that is just because it's so funny that some people maybe took it a little bit more seriously than we intended. But yeah, I really think Big Gabby played immensely today, and I don't know if you guys managed to see some quotes from him and kind of during the week about him, why he was dropped start of the season, and he's saying, Mikel Arteta spoke to him and gave him assurances that his position in the team wasn't under threat. He was just trying something different, and he loves it here and things. But I just can't help but think, and Tabs, you've got it written down here as well, that in your very, very well comprehensively done notes, that he potentially flirted around, the thought of maybe going to Saudi. I think what a loss that would have been if we sold him in the summer, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think he needed a bit of persuading. I think Mikel Arteta said that he had to have a word. tell him, look, what's good for him in his career. Look, you can't blame these players. That they're relatively young. They've got families to support, not immediate, maybe back home. To be honest, if someone shoved that amount of money in my face, to do another podcast, I might think about it. So
Hey, no, take that back.
But so it's one of these things, and I think it was managed well. But he's back, he's committed, and he's great, and he's showing, he's leading defensive goal scorer, for how many years now. So yeah, he's fine, and yeah, what a partnership. They're up there with the best two partnerships, definitely in the Premiership, best two defensive players in the Premiership, and even in Europe. But in terms of who stood out, I mean, I like my sort of off the ball, subtle sort of stuff. So yes, I had Saka down and Rice with the goal and all that. But I think Odegaard really, again, was leading the press, was directing everything, and was really good. And I saw a stat about he's now got 50 plus. He's created 50 plus chances from open play, and that's the highest by anyone in Europe. And he's really, the last 2 or 3 games, really stepped up. He like everyone else, had a bit of a dip, and he's now really leading the show. So even if he's not scoring, he's doing so much work off the ball and driving that team forward. And for me, that was sort of one of those sort of unsung hero type performances today. And I thought he was fantastic.
I think just touching on that as well, in terms of, you're talking about Odegaard's stats, and I even seen that Big Gabby is our second top defensive goal scorer in history. Bukayo Saka's beaten records again today. He's reached 50. It was 100 goals and assists across all competitions in his Arsenal career, and he's only 22. I did ask in the chat earlier on before the game kicked off, should we be demanding more from Bukayo Saka? And boy, did he come up trumps with that today. I wonder if he listens to the Grove, and if you are Bukayo, I'm sure you would love to jump on and tell everyone to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you need, share the podcast far and wide. I'll do it instead though, because he's not on this episode. You never know, we might get him on in the future. But yeah, please everyone, hit the like, follow, subscribe button. Go, if you're listening on Spotify, you can click on the little arrow that you can rate the show and hit 5 stars. It really helps us, really does us a world of good. So we really appreciate it. Tom, just coming to you about how exactly we played. I've got a couple of questions based on that, if you don't mind. In the first half, Leandro Trossard had 2 chances. The first one was a kind of header that went over the bar, and nothing really came of that. And then the second one was that spectacular volley followed by an even more spectacular save from Alphonse Areola. Do you think at that point, were you thinking, it's going to be one of those days where we can't take our chances, or were you confident we would still score more?
I mean, the way the game was going right from the get-go, I'm pretty confident that we were going to score. Certainly didn't think we'd score 6. But yeah, I see what you mean, because we had it against Forest, and the first half was just incredibly frustrating. It was just shot after shot and chance after chance, and nothing was going in. But yeah, I sort of had a thought with Areola making that save. It was an incredible save, to be fair to him. And I was thinking, if he's going to be playing like this all game, then we might struggle. But it's just still confident that we were going to score, because it was just one-way traffic.
I thought it was I had it down there up until those time, up until 22 minutes when Trossard had a header. It was, I think West Ham were being 4-3-2 or 4-2-3, whatever, and they were really, again, doing what Moyes does against us, and I could see that frustration. And what wasn't helping was that we were missing Zinchenko and that creativity. So Odegaard is good, but he's not that. And I've said he's created a lot of opportunities, but he's not more deep lying. So that's where Zinchenko really helps with trying to press us forward. And I think we missed that because Kiwior, and again, I like this, Kiwior was not inverting, and we shouldn't have him inverting. And so we were being a bit more solid. So I think we lacked a bit of creativity, and also we weren't overlapping. There wasn't much overlapping going on in the first 20. So I was thinking, where are we going to get these opportunities from? Because, we've seen this before. We struggle, but it seemed like from the 22nd minute, suddenly West Ham stopped doing what they were doing well, and our pressure told in the end. But I was a bit uncertain, because also Bowen was making himself a nuisance up front. You could see him turn Saliba early on, giving our front two, but then he wasn't well supported. Kudus seemed a bit off. He wasn't doing much. So yeah, it was just, guys, it's going to be a 0-0 or 1-0 or something like that. But yeah, then once the floodgates opened, then there was West Ham sort of just like capitulated, just gave up really.
Can I just say quickly with Kvyat, obviously when Zinchenko's out, you feel like you're missing that attacking threat, and yes, I fully agree that Kvyat shouldn't be playing in inverted role because he's not that type of player. But as someone who is kind of meant to be a centre back, the attacking output we get from him, especially today, I think it's of a really good standard. He does seem to operate that left back position quite well.
I think it's nice. It's quite refreshing as well. I agree. I think it's refreshing to see we don't have to always play inverted. We can just play a back four, a traditional back four, and let the forwards, let the midfield and the forwards do their job. It was quite refreshing to see that today, and it's nice to see that we can play both ways. We can play with Kvyat as a traditional left back, or we can have Zinni come in and invert. It's quite nice having that flexibility in your team. Just wanted to very quickly mention, we're recording this podcast obviously straight after the game, and Man U have went 1-0 up, which we don't really care about. But what's even funnier is a couple of West Ham Twitter accounts that I followed over the Declan Rice saga in summer that I've not really unfollowed yet. One of them says, very confident we get a result today. Another one quotes that with, yep, we won't lose. And then there's just a flood of tweets underneath that with Declan Rice. He's been pictured laughing. There's like a screen grab of one of the Sky Sports streams, and he's just laughing when he's on the bench. It's just hilarious to see that.
You should search for Moyes out. Hashtag Moyes out to see what happens.
They all want Julian Lopetegui, which is
why?
The same guy who got sacked by Wolves. So that's even funnier.
I was just going to say, we were just giving Kvyat his flowers just then. I think one thing that stood out for me was Martinelli and Kvyat. They really had Soufal nailed down. It was almost like like you were saying, Tabs, up to the first 22nd or so minute, Soufal seemed to read the game really well, as he always does. But if you notice that Martinelli and Kvyat were constantly helping each other out on that side, and from probably the 20-30 minutes onwards, it was just floodgates open. They couldn't really do much against it, and like I said, Kvyat just read the game really well, and then eventually started to bomb forward, get into those attacking opportunities. So I think I think he had a really good game.
I agree. I think the more minutes he's getting, the more assured he looks as well, the more confident he looks, right? So yeah, I mean, I just hope that some of our players can come back from injury, and I hope Tomiyasu, and I think Arteta mentioned that he was carrying a little bit of a niggle. I'm really looking forward to the latter part of this season when all these players come back, and we actually have a proper full strength team and a full strength bench as well to pick from. I think Zinchenko and Smith Rowe potentially are only a few days away, although Twitter seems to think that Smith Rowe's now injured until the end of March for some reason. I don't know where they've got that from. But we've also got Fabio Vieira, Gabriel Jesus, and Thomas Partey coming back slowly, and the main man Julian Timber as well. So there's a lot to be positive about.
We seem to talk about this though every week, and what gets us, we don't mind having the odd player injured, but it's the cluster injuries, and it's like one or two people in the same position that always makes it hard, and you're always having to. So look, today's a celebratory pod, and today we should be celebrating, but it's just, and I think that's what gave us the anxiety before the game, because it's not just we're thinking about this game, we're thinking ahead, and we're all right, and we should be getting these players back, because we're thinking bigger picture. Fingers crossed. I think you're right. I think he just twisted his ankle here, so in training, so that's just, unless it's really bad ligament ankle damage, it should be a week and they should be back. And we'll see, but it's just those cluster injuries that kill us and get us frustrated.
I'm just glad it's Burnley next week, and they're still a Premier League outfit, but I just can't wait to beat Vincent Kompany's team and relegate them back to the Championship where they belong. But then after that, it's obviously Porto away, and then Newcastle at home. Two really important games for us if We want this season to be defined as a success. Those are the 2 games that we really need to win. Just looking at the stats from the game as well, I don't really, XG for me is a pointless stat, but it's quite telling that we're 3.6 and West Ham are 0.2. That's quite a massive difference. But just in terms of our shots as well, 25 to their 5, 12 on target. They had 1. They had no big chances. We had 6, and we only missed 2. So we scored 4 of our so-called big chances. Even our passing accuracy was 93% to their 74. It was just an overall very good, gold standard, 5-star performance, and I don't know how we can wax lyrical more about it. If this was Man City, if this was Liverpool that had just beat, or even Man U, if just beat West Ham 6-0, the pundits, the media would be loving it, absolutely loving it. So I just hope we get the same love, and as Søren says, players get their flowers for this performance. I really, really enjoyed that. I don't really want to touch much on how West Ham played because there's not really much to discuss about
Sorry,
that, really.
Did they play? I didn't notice anything. So.
I think their fans have a 0.5 XB for boos per minute. I mean, they went from booing Saka and Rice. I don't know why Saka was getting booed for being fouled, by the way, but they went from booing Saka and Rice to booing their own team and then leaving at half time, which was just hilarious.
Oh, they were sorry. They were following the Stoke Neanderthal way of supporting, as in, if you dare get fouled or have your leg broken, we'll boo you. So that's all they do. So it's like, yeah, well. Get over it. It's fine.
I really don't think West Ham played like I've seen them play. I think I was expecting them to be a little bit more on the front foot. And the first 5 minutes I was watching the game and I was thinking, it's like we're playing at home. The amount of possession we had, the control we had in the game. And even when we lost the ball, we seemed to keep winning it back. And it was just such a dominant performance. And we essentially didn't let them play. I don't think they had any players that did really well. I don't know if anyone else has any opinions, if anyone else wants to throw out any names of any players that played well.
They got what they deserved. They set up to do what they... So actually, if you look at the stats, it's pretty much similar to the home game that we had. We just couldn't finish. They had 1 own goal and something else, So no, they got what they deserved. They sat out there, low block. They think they'll get us on the break. And this time we took them to town, which we should have done last time. So yeah, you're right.
I've got to admit, it's sort of good. Waking up this morning, I was pretty confident all throughout the week, and then waking up this morning, I just thought, actually, I'm pretty bloody nervous about today. I mean, they've got Bowen. Obviously, we know how good he is. Kudus and Ward-Prowse. So they've got the facilities to be a dangerous team. And I thought with the sort of home advantage, I thought they're going to be right up for it and putting the pressure on. But like we say, just didn't even get a sniff. And I think a lot of that, similar to the Liverpool game, a lot of that comes from how good our midfield has been, especially Rice, because then they're not able to sort of flow through from defence to attack because they just get shut down by midfield.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Actually, I never thought of it like that. Really, really good point. I'm just looking at the FOTMob rankings now, and Kudus was their highest ranked player, 6.7. Areola 4.4, Souček 4.7, Emerson 4.9. It's hilarious. I'm shocked at how bad they were today. Let's spend a few minutes just going through the goals, if we can. I just want to discuss our 6 goals. We could talk about them all night, but what I'm going to do is, obviously there were 6 goals, so I'm going to go Søren, Tabs, Tom for the first 3, and then Søren, Tabs, Tom for the next 3. So the first goal obviously was scored by, like we say, Mustafi 2.0, one of the best defenders in world football at the moment, William Saliba. Søren, talk me through it. What were your thoughts? Corner obviously came in from Declan Rice. Saliba rose highest at the back. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, again, our set plays are just fantastic at the moment. One of the things I've been really happy since I struggle to remember which game it was. Possibly Palace was the first game we saw Rice taking corners consistently.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we always had Trossard taking those corners, and I don't know what we were trying to achieve, because he could never beat the first man, and it was starting to really grate on me, the fact that we were just not doing anything from that side, and then Saka would create chances from the other corner. So as soon as Rice has been on corners, man, it's been fantastic, hasn't it? It was just perfect delivery again. Saliba, well rehearsed. One thing I'm really impressed with as well is we're doing these corners where we run in from the back stick into either the front post or the back post, and we're not fouling anyone. I could see days of old us trying to do that sort of routine and clattering players on the back stick, but it's not happening. And I was really impressed with that one. That's one of, probably the loudest I shouted today, apart from the Rice goal. I was really impressed with that one. I loved it.
And then we obviously made it 2-0 with the Bukayo Saka penalty tabs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you thought, I mean, the double jeopardy laws, obviously, that mean if you make the foul and you're last man, you get a yellow and it's a penalty. But did he even go for the ball, Areola?
I don't know. I wasn't really too sure. I mean, it was a lovely first time pass, I think. Was it first time? I don't know. It was a lovely pass over the top by Trossard. And it was nice to actually see some green space to run into. A perfectly timed run. It was, my initial thoughts were, oh God, is this going to be offside? And stuff. No, I wasn't fast that he wasn't sent off. I don't know. I think, I'm not 100% clued up on the laws around that. And then it was a case of redemption for Saka, because he missed the penalty last year that would have won us the game, would have made it 3-1. So I was really pleased to see him step up, and the way it hit the back of the net, you could hear he hit it properly. And hit it well, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, hitting it to the goalkeeper's left. Yeah, it was lovely penalty, nice finish, and I'm pleased for him, because I think he would have had that on his mind. And also, it's not easy because you're waiting for VAR to make the decision, and so you're standing there waiting to take it. So no, all very, very pleasing. Good pass, good run, well put away.
Really nice, yeah. Really, I agree. I'm going to echo that sentiment. Really nice for Saka to score after missing it, obviously, last season, and didn't really like what the commentator said about, he missed for England in that crucial game, and talking about, that was ages ago now. These commentators, they just love to see Arsenal fail, but obviously Saka wouldn't have heard that. But like you say, the composure that a man at that age, a boy at that age has, I mean, unbelievable. And then we made it third. In the 44th minute, it was Gabriel scored again, Tom, from another Decker's corner.
No, it was a free kick.
I mean,
Free kick,
sorry, I beg your pardon. Yeah, a Declan Rice free kick this time. So just shows you the quality of his set piece delivery, right? That he can do it from a corner, he can do it from a free kick. I mean, by the time that goal went in, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing Rice do it all season with his free kicks, and in recent times corners. The way he whips the ball is just, it's kind of, I'm not going to compare him to De Bruyne in that sense, but you see De Bruyne hit those stationary balls from free kicks and whatnot. It's just got so much power and whip, and he just does it so well. And what I loved about that goal was, unless I'm imagining it, I'm pretty sure Gabriel sort of went over to Rice, and I'd imagine it probably went something like, stick it here, I'm going to run into here. And Rice just went, yeah, all right. And then he just hits it bang on the spot that Gabriel wanted it, and he knocks it in. So yeah, I mean, credit to Rice though, just such a good ball.
I noticed that as well. I was going to mention it if you didn't. Yeah, he definitely said something. And actually, I wanted to mention, so the first 3 goals from set pieces, and they are so important when you're playing against a team with a low block. Again, I think we said against Palace, or people sort of dismiss set piece goals because, I don't know, they don't seem like proper goals. Well, they count as every other bloody goal. So, but I think they're so important to have good set pieces. When teams play a low block, they're a great sort of thing to have in your armory to take. Say, okay, fine, we won't get through you that way. We'll get through this way, and then sort of, again, multiple facets to our ability to attack, either open play or set pieces. So important. And that first goal was so important to open them up. And actually, after we scored that first goal, again, they just fell to pieces, and we had more chances after that. It was just ridiculous.
I'm really
I
gutted
think
that you never said in your arsenal as opposed to in your armory. You've really missed a trick there, Tabs. I'm thinking about just cancelling this whole episode and
No,
restarting
Just so you
it's
can say
because I
that.
spent half my time in the shop, so that's what got armory on my mind.
When we
I
start
think it
doing
also
the
speaks volumes that that Rice is on these because he's a big guy. Obviously you want your big guys in the box for free kicks and corners and like that, but because he's on them, yeah, it speaks volumes as to how good he is at taking them.
Yeah. I was going to mention, just thought it was quite funny. Obviously, everyone knows about your background and your videos, Tabs, and your copious amounts of Arsenal merch. But when we start doing the video podcast, I can't wait for the listeners to see that. Yeah, it's really, really nice to see. I think we should all get dressed up to our full kit wankers almost and record these pods. Shin pads included, boots optional though. Second half, obviously. In fact, no, sorry, not even second half. Stoppage time in the first half. Leandro Trossard scored what I think was just a sublime finish. Top bins, as the kids call it nowadays. Again, an assist it was Martin Odegaard that assisted this one, wasn't it? But,
Yeah.
I mean, what a finish, right? And going in at 4-0 was just the icing on the cake for that first
Do you know
half.
what, there's two things about this goal that I absolutely love, and the first thing is it was the fact that we won the ball back to score this goal. So the ball comes over the top. I think it was Zuma heads it away, and between Havertz, Odegaard, and I forget who it was now, the three of them, they win the ball back. It might have been Trossard actually. Win the ball back. Suddenly comes over to Odegaard, slips it through to Trossard. And honestly, I was looking at the TV from a distance. I thought it was Thierry Henry. I was so impressed with his finish. So, but I think that's the thing with Trossard. He's that deadly in the box. I just think he needs to be sometimes a little bit more clinical, and maybe we don't need a striker, but time will tell.
Just on that point, the pundits after the game were saying, "Oh, Arsenal don't need a striker, do they?" But like you say, time will tell. But you can't win the league unless you have a striker that's scoring, Erling Haaland type goals and consistently. If we win 6-0 every single week now until the end of the season, then so be it. I'll have egg on my face. But yeah, I mean, I think Arteta's just trying to find something that works in the meantime before we can actually get a striker. And whether that is Ivan Toney, Victor Osimhen, or Vlahovic or whoever, I don't know. I'm sure that'll be spoken about on another podcast, maybe closer to the transfer window opening. But yeah, I still think we do need a striker. Obviously, after Trossard's goal, we went into the break at 4-0 Tabs, and then out we came. You were thinking it's going to be what, 4-3?
4-2.
And then suddenly, 15 minutes after the resumption of the second half, Calvin Phillips and Mavropanos get introduced, obviously, and 15 minutes later, Bukayo Saka scores a wonderful goal. I just want to hijack. I know you're talking about this goal, but I just want to mention a couple of things, if you'll allow me. The first one is how awful Areola was for the goal. I mean, he didn't even make an attempt to save the ball. He just stood there and watched it go in. I think he was kind of waiting for Saka to bend it around into the other side of the far side of the goal, which is fair enough. But what a finish from Saka. I don't know if anyone's played football, at various levels before. I'm sure we've all played 5-a-side or 7-a-side. But to be at that moment, about to take a shot to score the goal and think, instead of going to the outside of the keeper, I'm going to hit it into this side of the goal. It's just unbelievable technique. And as you can tell, I'm lost for words at just that finish. I know the Rice and Trossard goals will get the credit, but that finish from Saka, just to think the keeper might dive the other side, so I need to hit it into his near post, and wow, what a finish it was.
No, it was lovely to see, and I think that was his 51st goal. So yeah, he got his 50th and 51st today. I mean, to me, it was too easy. So yeah, great finish, but no, Odegaard had loads of time on the ball. No one went near him, and then Saka going through, two defenders, like as if they weren't there, and they didn't even bother getting near. And by that time, yeah, they were done. Yeah, and he said they brought on Mavropanos and Phillips, and then at that point, I think we're okay now. I think we're okay now. There's nothing to worry about here. So yeah, as you say, lovely finish, and you're right. They often expect it to go to the other side, a far post, and it was lovely to tuck it on the inside. It was, I think, it was natural as well to do it with his left foot. So yeah, good on him. And that was the game done.
And then Tom gets the pick of the goals, right? Tom gets the Deccer special, the Decker's Tekkers, we're going to call it. You done it against Chelsea, same kind of finish, right? And done it again today. What do you make of that finish?
Well, I was going to say I'm buzzing. I'm the one that gets to go through that goal, but I don't actually know what to say about it. It's other than it was just stupid. Yeah, I mean, just the way he makes it look so easy. You see the ball coming towards him, and you just know he's like bang, and it just kind of looks effortless. But yeah, I mean, what a goal! I don't really know what else to say. It was just so good.
Incidentally, that goal, the shot from where that goal was taken, was the furthest away from the goal that we had a shot from today. So I was looking at the shot map, and it shows where each shot was taken from. There was 3 in close proximity. One was Kai Havertz in the 50th minute that just went wide of the post. The other one was El Neni, who's went kind of high and wide. And then the third was Bukayo Saka, which was blocked, but it was actually on target. I would really recommend, if people don't have FOTMob, to go onto it and then click on the game and click on stats. You can click each circle to see exactly, what each shot, what foot they hit it with, what the situation was, and what the result was as well, and how many XG and that kind of thing the shot generated. So really, really cool app to use. We're not getting paid, but if anyone from FOTMob is listening, we would love a sponsorship. So yeah, really good descriptions, guys, for the goals. There wasn't really any controversy in the game, though, was there? There wasn't. I don't know if you guys remember. I know I mentioned in the chat kind of the first 20 minutes of the first half, the referee was siding with us for a lot of calls that were 50-50 or even maybe 60-40 in West Ham's favour. One of the most telling ones was, you'll remember in the first half when the ball went out of play and it was clearly a West Ham throw-in. Mikel Arteta quickly grabs the ball and throws it to, I think it was Kai Havertz, and you could hear him on the mic saying, go, 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 go. And just so if you throw it, that's it, the referee can't stop and give the throw in the other way. But it just felt like the referee was really on our side. The West Ham fans were getting quite...
I felt that too.
Yeah. I think... Sorry, I was going to say the West Ham fans even were getting on the referee's back, weren't they? Booing everything and really, really moaning about it.
Yeah, so when I went to the League Cup game at the London Stadium, I felt like the fans got on the ref's back, and he would give decisions their way, and it just kept happening. And obviously I'm biased, but I felt like this ref's definitely going their way today. And we I think we can all agree the ref was on our side for at least the first 30 minutes, and then from then on it didn't really matter. Like, he could have given them decisions, we wouldn't have cared. I was almost surprised at that ball that went over to Saka for the penalty. I was surprised it didn't get pulled back for something. I was thinking, this is going too far in our direction at that point. But yeah, for me, I thought the ref was great, but perhaps I'm too biased. But definitely the first 30 minutes, he was definitely a bit more on our side. There you are.
Think yeah.
Was it that he was on our side though, or was it just that he just wasn't going against us like we're used to?
A bit of both, I would say. I think maybe on our side, for the fact that Bukayo Saka gets fouled early on in the first half, and was it Emerson that, or sorry, was it someone got booked, didn't they? I think it was Edson Alvarez, wasn't it? They got booked. Was that like the first 10 minutes, for a foul on Saka? So that never gets given usually. And then Areola obviously got booked for his foul on Saka for the penalty. But yeah, I mean, the referee, I think, was very good today. Tabs, I don't know if you have anything to add. I bet you found somewhere in the game where the referee didn't have a decision for us, and you want to bring it up, or no?
No, I think it was fine. I said, yeah, it was typical referee, and he didn't make it about him, which was good. And as he said, once we were like 2-3-0 up, it was irrelevant. There were no flying tackles, or there weren't this, that, and the other. So I think it was relatively fair. I think there were a couple of times maybe he could have there were a lot of arms going across bodies and stuff, and he could have been. But I think he managed it well. I think he treated it like as it should have been. So yeah, I was quite pleased there. The fact that we're talking about it just because we say, oh, was there anything controversial? But as we come away from this game, you forget who the referee was, and we focus on the 6-0.
But that's what it should be.
Yeah.
One of the most kind of worrying moments for me personally was when I seen, was it Ben Johnson was kind of clotheslined almost by Saliba, and I genuinely thought, are they going to bring this back and look at it and get VAR involved? Because it did look a little. I didn't see many replays of it, but it did look like Saliba put his full forearm out and Ben Johnson ran into it.
Yeah, but it was nothing. It was just, as you said, he was protecting the ball, giving himself width. Yeah, it was more running into it. It was you could have given a free kick there, but there was nothing malicious in it.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't a foul. But you do see them pull back sometimes. So yeah, I kind of agree that it's a bit worrying when you see him kind of like looking through it, thinking shit, they might pull it back. But yeah, definitely not a foul.
I think in terms of this result, let's talk about what it means for the wider picture for the season, right? So for me, I mean, results like this and results like the one we had against Liverpool last week mean nothing unless we can back it up the following week with another win. This is our chance. Everyone goes on about, oh, this time of year, Man City can go on 15, 20 games unbeaten. This is our chance to do the same, right? If we win every single game between now and the end of the season, we will be Premier League champions. There's no doubt about that. That's fact. So why can't we go on a little run? With next 3 Premier League games, we've got Burnley away next weekend on Saturday. Then we've got Newcastle at home, Saturday night kick-off for that one. And then we've got Sheffield United away on the following week on the Monday. Well, a weekend, a few days after that. So 3 very winnable games. I mean, Newcastle are looking amazing at the moment. I know they've won their last 4, but they've won 3 of the last 4, haven't they? But drawing against the likes of Luton, just scraping past Forest yesterday. So I'm just keen to hear your thoughts. If we just think about the next 3 games, do you guys agree with me that the next 3 games need to be victories to back up the previous 3 games, essentially?
No, absolutely. It's every game is must win with, and you've got that relentless beast, Man City. Every game is win. What I'd like to see is, in a way, just routine wins. Turn up, get the 2-3 goals, go home. No dramas, no fuss. The 6-0s are great. People are going to be talking about it, and it's fine. But it'll be just nice to get in, be professional, do the job, go home. And that's what I just want to see us do. A bit like Man City yesterday. Yeah, nothing spectacular. 2-0 against Everton, job done, move on. Because again, I think I know we love the 6-0s and it's great, and we would love to win it every week, but that's not going to happen. So again, even that brings a level of emotion to it, and people talking about it and so on like that. So it's just I like it when we're a bit more just under the radar, just get in, get it done, get out. I say take 9 points, and then we move on and see where we are.
Yeah, I completely agree. In answer to your question, Moz, yes, we need to win them, but I think it's important to not get bogged down in game like 3-4 games time. I think it was a big contributing factor to our sort of winning streak last season. We were just taking it on a game by game basis, and then obviously the pressure came on, and we dropped off. And I think that's because part of that was because we were going, right, we need to win the next 6 games, and sort of taking it in chunks as opposed to a game by game basis. So we just need to focus on our upcoming game, and that's it.
Søren, what about yourself?
Yeah, I agree. We need to take it game by game, but also we need to stop thinking. I doubt the players do, but I know we do. Not thinking about the past. When we're going away to, I don't know, Old Trafford, stop thinking about the past and how many games we haven't won there in the past. I think we did that, or at least I did that for the Anfield game, thinking about, we haven't won here in X many years. We need to stop all that, take it game by game. And I think as well, we need to focus. We're pretty happy on our home form. We really need to be ready to fight for our away games. So I think this year we've lost 3 away games in Premier League. we really need to focus on our away games and be ready to fight. And if that means that, maybe we have to go a little bit low block against some of these teams, so be it. We just have to absolutely fight for these games.
We have lost 3 away, but we've also got the second best record away from home. We've won 7, drawn 2. The only team that have won more away from home have been Man City. They've won 8, drawn 1. They've also lost 3, incidentally enough, away from home as well.
Oh, wow.
So it just shows you this league. What an exciting Premier League. I mean, last season was exciting because we were top for 95% of it. But this season's even more exciting for me because it's a 3-horse race, right? So, and I know if any Tottenham fans are listening, oh, no, you're not in this race. You never have been, you never will be. Listen to Sir Alex and what he said at the racing the other day. Just humble yourselves. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I really enjoyed this episode, guys. I really appreciate your time today. And Cern, it's really good to have you on as well. So we hope you can come
Pleasure.
back for a future episode. All that's left for me to say, guys, is thank you so much for listening again. What a start to the podcasting career it's been. I mean, it just doesn't seem like we can do any wrong. Every time we record an episode, it's always a good result. So long may that continue. Cern, Tabs, Tom, thank you so much for today, guys. And please, everyone, remember, hit the like, hit the follow, hit the share, the comment, anything. Whatever button you see, press it, do it. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Farewell.
Cheers.